Bieber. Hello. I'm so glad that you can make it here with me. Today we're going to have fun wire wrapping a frame and then wire wrapping some earrings on it. And I hope so far you're having a great start to your week and that you're having a great day so far today. And thank you for being here with artbeads.com. So a few housekeeping things. I can read your comments down below on artbeads.com. If you're on Facebook and YouTube, I won't be able to capture your comments live, but I'll try to visit them later if you have any questions. If any items are out, you can sign up for an email reminder on the website for when they're available to purchase again. And then we ask if you purchase anything today during the live that you do it before the show ends, that you close out your, hi Susan, thank you, I appreciate it, that you close out your checking card. Blah. Anyways, hi, how's it going, everybody? Happy Tuesday. We are here live. We're gonna make some earrings. Foggy afternoon. I'm sorry you guys have fog. I'm so jazzed. We have sunlight outside. It's so nice to have sunshine here. It was like rain rainy a lot last week and cold. Got up this morning, there's like ice on the roads, but thankfully it thawed and it's nice and sunny out. Hi, Kat. Hi, Marianne. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. I'm so jazzed. My friend gave me a color and a haircut, and I didn't do it as good as she did because she's a hairstylist, but like she had it flipped out and stuff. But you know, I'm trying. Thanks, Marianne. I appreciate it. I feel like it looks better than it did, and she colored it. Oh my gosh, it's so great. I don't know about you guys. I have a lot of silver in my hair. I got a lot of gray. She's able to fix it, so that's great. Hi, Nancy. Thanks, I appreciate it. You guys are so awesome. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Seriously, you guys are blessing my day. Thank you. So I put a project together this morning. I wanted to do like a wire wrapping project, something I haven't done yet, something that's easy that everybody could do at home. That's an idea that you could use with any beads that you might have available, or extra beads that could go with your purchase from artbeads.com. Thank you, Robin. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Thanks, Tina. You guys are so nice. Thank you. You know, I made this necklace. It's super cool. You guys, again, you could make this from artbeads.com. They have a lot of this stuff. I took a rhinestone cup chain and then I cut it in half for the neckline, and then I just attached a pendant and wire up some drops on it. Anyways, so I was thinking this morning, I've done these earrings a few times. It's been a while, and I thought, you know, that might be a cute idea for a class. So really quick, this is like the main frame idea. And so you can hammer the top. I did this morning, or not hammer it. Some people choose to hammer it. So just in case, the product list, I do have hammering on there, the hammer utensils, like the hammer and the metal block and everything. And so I'm going to show you like how I make this. And then what you do is you like wire wrap through here with an assortment of beads, and then it ends with daggers. And I'm using a 1-hole dagger, and the one on the shopping link is 2 holes, which is fine. So if you have 2 holes, you can just go with the wire through twice through the daggers at the bottom. So basically, we start with small beads and you wire wrap back and forth, and that ends with me dropping stuff. It ends with the daggers on the bottom. So you can decide how big you want this. So sometimes you can make it larger as a pendant for necklace, or you can wire wrap this smaller. You know, you can do your ends smaller and bring these closer together for earrings. So I'm going to show you like the gist of it, and then you can decide how big you want it at home. So for this particular size, this is 1.5 inch long stem on the length. And then, so it's like 1.5 on each side. And for the total earrings, it's about 2 inches long. But I thought it would be a nice idea to at least demonstrate how to make the frame and how to make these and wire wrap it with you guys today. And then you can decide if you want to do a pendant or earrings or how you want to decorate it. So I did find an assortment of glass beads on artbeads.com along with this really great, beautiful like turquoise dagger color. And I thought, okay, so I'm going to stick with blues for this one. And then I preformed this one and hammered it because hammering on camera is loud. And so it's like, I don't really want to hammer with you guys and have you be like, oh, my ears hurt. So I preformed this one. I'll make the second with you on camera, but I won't hammer that one. And then we'll be wire wrapping with the 26 gauge artistic wire brand copper wire. So hello, Susan. And then really quick too, I'll be using a cup burr. That's one word for it. And what you do with these is when you cut your wire, you're going to have like a raw end. It's going to be kind of flat and sharp around the edges. And this is a bead-along cut burr. I do have this tool in the shopping link. Is you put it on the end of your wire like so, and you just kind of rotate it around, just spin it. And I kind of move mine around like this and just kind of turn it a few times. And this will round the end of your wire. It'll like curve it and also take away the sharp sections on the edges. So when you do this, it makes your wire ends not as sharp and it rounds them. And yeah, wire rounder. Oh yeah, I used to metalsmith and we called it a cut burr. But so you want to do this on like both ends. And then you just twist it, and this will make your wire nice and smooth on the ends. So you can use this for anything. Like if you wire wrap anything and you cut a piece of wire and it's kind of raw or sharp on the end, just grab one of these tools and they're really handy. You just twist it on there and it makes your wire rounded, and it doesn't make it as sharp on the edges. So that way, if you're wearing it, it's not going to bother you. All right, so having said that, I'm going to turn the camera and we'll get going. So again, here's a close-up. I'm going to be doing like this shape today. And then, hi PJ. We're going to get wire wrapping with some beads. Hold on one second. Oh, and also I have a new phone holder from Art Beads coming today. Yes, I cannot wait. It'll be easier for me to do stuff with my phone. So, all right. We're going to have fun making some earrings. Hi, Georgina. Welcome to the show. Yes, I also have the electric one by Beading with the attachment on the end. That works fantastic as well. It's a lot faster. You heard Luna? That is her in the background meowing. The minute I go live, she starts meowing because she wants to hang out with you guys and make jewelry. And that's hilarious. I love it. So here's a close-up of what I'll be making, and I'm using 18 gauge wire for this one. So you can use German style wire, which is a little bit, harder of a wire. You can use half hard. Today's, I'll be using artistic wire brand 18 gauge wire. And oh, thank you so much, Barbara. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Yes, that is my cat meowing. So my wire has a little bit of a curve to it. So I just grab my nylon pliers and I just kind of smooth it out a little bit. That way it warms up the wire a little bit. So it's a little bit more pliable, but it also smooths it out. So it don't have quite as much bump on there when I'm working with it. So it's a little bit straighter. I want to hold the end like so. So this is a great tool. If you just need to straighten out your wire, if you're ever wire working, it smooths out all the kinks, which comes when your wire is on a round. So I'm gonna actually trim that on this one. So when you're making a pair of earrings, you want to make sure you have two pieces of wire that are the same length. That way your earrings will be the same size. So I'm going to kind of do this a little bit, put this down. All right, we're looking at the same size. Again, I'm going to smooth this one out a little bit. And you can do one at a time. You can do two at a time. So, where are my tools at? I'm going to be using some rounding loopers. And for myself, I like to pick the largest barrel. Now, it depends on which size earrings you're using. Again, this is 1.5 inch stem. So I'm using the larger barrel. This could be a pendant size. If you want a smaller earring, you could use a smaller barrel. And then overall your earring will be smaller since the loop is smaller at the top. And then you just trim down your wire accordingly. So for this one, I think I'm going to use 1, 2, 3. I would say this is probably the 4th barrel size. And you want to center your wire around the barrel as much as possible and just bring it around. like so. And then we're going to kind of have them overlap and make a loop in the center. There's stage one. Now, if you want to hammer your end, this would be where you do it. Just carefully, just like hold it down on the block like so and hammer the end. Hammering it does strengthen the metal a little bit, but it also kind of gives it a texture and flattens it out and just makes it look a little different. I'm so glad that you're happy that Luna is here. Yes, you can texturize German wire. It works just like the regular wire. It's just a little bit of a harder wire. It's comparative to half hard, although not as hard as half hard. But you can hammer it and texture it. Okay, so the other thing is sometimes my stems come out a little bit too either far apart or a little wonky. So if you're wanting them closer together, you can just kind of gently bend in your frame a little bit so it doesn't stick out quite as far. There we go. There we go. And these also need to be the same length. And just trim your ends so the same length. And then when you're working with your wire, you want to make sure that they're the same length and same positioning as well. That way your earrings match. And I just kind of use my chain nose pliers to just kind of move them around a little bit. And if they're not perfect, that's okay too. Okay, this one. So you want to make sure that their ends match up and then trim them down like so. She is a super sweet kid. I'm so glad you say that, Dominique. She's my sweetheart. She's my shadow. She follows me around everywhere. She's my baby. Also, I hope you guys are having a great December. Is anybody watching any Christmas movies? My favorite right now is the one with Bing Crosby. I love it. White Christmas. It's musical. I love that movie. It's great. Okay, so I have both my frames done. Again, because I'm on camera, I'm not going to hammer because it's a little loud. But I do have the hammer and block links available if you do like to texture yours. And so I'm going to start from here. So the goal is to end with daggers on the end placement. And when I'm starting at the top, I use smaller beads and work my way down to larger beads. Oh yeah, I would be more than happy to show her on camera as soon as she comes back. She often likes to jump on the table and sit right here in the middle of where I'm working and be center of attention. Because, well, I'm like, that's my daughter. So I'm going to start with wire wrapping around the frame a few times to get my wire established. You can go through just a few loops to get it on there. And I like to go probably 3 times and then trim off excess wire. And then I'm going to pinch it down. And I like to get it as close to the top as possible. That way it's inconspicuous and I can tuck it up there and then start beading right away. So the wire isn't necessarily the focal point. So for this one, I'm going to start with an 11-0 seed bead. And I usually start with the smaller beads and then work my way down to a thicker one and then rotate back to the smaller ones for a pattern. So I have a fun leaf earring that I do. It's kind of similar to this where I do different types of beads going back and forth between the frame. And depending on how these need to be spaced out, you can go between 3 loops. I usually do 3 loops. On the larger ones, you want to do about 4 in between one. And then grab some more beads and go back across. So I'm going to grab some more 11-0s for this one. And this is a great idea as well for if you have a similar color line. I don't want to say a bead soup. However, if you have a mixture of beads that are, in the same color house, you could use this idea in order to use up leftover beads that you might have. You don't need too many beads for this idea, so it's easy to find like orphan beads and make something. I also like to go back and forth. So you want to go over and under each side like this with your wire as you're going back and forth. You can go straight across if you want to. I find that it's a little bit easier for the wire to get pushed through. So I like to go over and under. That way it's a little bit more stabilized with my pattern and it will be a little bit stronger. Okay. Oh, Wonderful Life. That's a really good movie too. Oh, I love the ending. Oh my gosh. When the bell rings and she's like, oh, an angel gets his wings. I love that. Okay, cool. So sometimes too, as I'm going around, again, if I'm using larger beads, you might need to do one more wire wrapping on the edge. Depending on what beads you're using, I think that will be something that you'll find as you go with this project, how many beads that you need. So the next I'm going to go up from 11/0 to like a 3mm round. So I'm mixing in a round Czech glass 3mm bead, and I'm going to go with this one next. So the idea of this is you mix different colors and textures of glass beads, and you just want to wire up back and forth in between your frame with as many beads as you can going across that will fit through the center. So sometimes you have barely enough room. So I'm just going to kind of gently pull out my stem here a little bit to give me a little bit more space. But I also want my beads to be stacked close together on top of each other. I don't want to have too much of a gap. So sometimes as you're going, you're going to find, I can put this here, but that's kind of a large gap between the two, which will ruin the pattern. So I might have to go down a bead and bring it up higher and kind of bring the stem in just a tiny bit and then see if that sits closer together. The other thing you can do is swap out this size of a bead for a different size bead to find out what will fit in there a little bit closer together. So when you're doing this project, it's a little bit of trial and error trying to figure out what will fit with the amount of space that you have. So you can swap in 3 or 4mm beads and kind of hold it up there and figure out what's going to work for you. That's the fun thing about this idea for earrings is you can mix in multiple types of beads and sizes to figure out what will work for you in your design. Oh, The Grinch. You know, I don't think I've seen that movie. I know Jim Carrey's in it. I hate to say that. I don't think I've actually seen that movie before. I've seen clips, but I need to watch it. And I've seen Elf like once. I'm funny. I love the classics. I haven't seen too many of the newer Christmas movies. Let's see how this fits. So sometimes too, you can just put some beads on your wire and lay it over your frame and kind of guess what's going to fit. So I think I'm just going to go back to these ones. So for this one, I'm using a 3mm round Czech glass bead. And after this one, I'm going to step up to a 3 by 5mm rondelle. There we go. I'm just going to do the 2. Oh, that's, yeah, it's wire on the screen. Okay, here we go. So again, sometimes it's just as you're going is tweaking placement where the beads go. And since this one's coming over the top, I'm going to go through the bottom on this one and then bring it underneath and around. And when I'm moving, you want it to be tight so that way everything stays in place on your frame. Except for I don't like that gap. I'm going to do this over again. Sorry, I like these to fit nice and snug up next to each other. And I don't like gaps. Here, I'm going to bring that in. Okay, here we go. I'm going to do this instead. And then also I like to press my wire together so it's nice and tight on the coils as well. Okay, that'll work. All right, so next I'm going to incorporate some of the rondelles. And again, this design is a mixture of different kinds of glass and shapes. So you can blend whatever appeals to you in between the frame. But the overall look when you're finished, I think is really cool for a pair of earrings. Oh my gosh, the movie Serendipity. I love that movie. That is one of my favorite movies with John Cusack. So cute. I love that movie. Oh my gosh, that's such a good movie. That's one of my favorites. I need to watch that again. All right, so I've gone from an 11/0 seed bead to a 3mm round check glass to the 3x5mm rondelle. Hold that up. So you can kind of see a pattern and color start to come together. I'm trying to stick with like turquoise blue sort of. And I got that one down. So again, before I add any more beads, I just want to make sure I have enough space before I add anything with my wire under the bead. If it's too close, then I'm not going to be able to put beads here and not have them run into each other. So that's just when you kind of add an extra loop of wire. And I'm going to lay it across the top and figure out how much room I have. Okay, I'm good. So I'm going to add some more beads. And the holiday is cute. I started watching that the other day. It's on Hulu right now. Oh, I love the holiday. That's such a cute movie. I mean, Jude Law's hot. Like, he's just totally hot. I love that movie. And so I'm going to go back down to 11.0. I like to skip around with sizes because it kind of adds some texture, you know, when you mix up sizing a little bit in the pattern. And then it allows you to bring the top part of the pattern back down to the bottom, which ties it all in together. And it also reintroduces the color back in. So I'm going to take this one off. I'm just going to bring it around my stem again. Wire wrap a few times. Usually if I'm doing with the 11.0, I go around 4 times. It's usually enough space. And I'm going to bring it up through the bottom like this and add my next row. And for this one, I'm going to do some fire polish. So this is 4mm fire polish. I would probably stick with the 3mm if you're doing earrings though, because they're a little bit smaller and you can fit them in easier. Unless you want to have a larger bead, then you can jump up to a 4. The majority of these beads are going to be 11.0, 3 and 4mm. So that way you can add more beads to the design, but they're not as large or heavy for earrings. Here we go. Isn't this cool? I love it's coming together. You know, I just saw too, this looks kind of like a tree. So, oh my gosh, you could do red and green beads with this and make a Christmas tree earring. I just thought of that. That's a great idea. You could have like a star up here, like wire wrap a little star, check glass star in here or something, and then do red and green and turn them into Christmas tree earrings. Oh man, I wish I thought of that earlier. That would have been so cute. Do red and green, and you could like do white. Oh, that would be so fun. Yeah, you guys, that's a great idea. You could do Christmas trees. Oh, I wish I thought of that. You could do like gold wire. You could do the colored green wire. They have tinted green wire, and then have that be your tree base. Use green wire wrapping back and forth with green and like red and white beads. I wish I thought of that. That would have been a really great idea. Artbeads.com does have colored wire, so you could do green wire for a tree and have Christmas tree earrings. That is fantastic. Yeah, I love it when we all hang out together on camera, like on a live, because we all bounce off of each other and talking out loud kind of helps. Like, hey, I had some coffee and I think it's just kicking in. So I'm going to go back to my shiny 3mm rounds here to bring the top part of the design back down to the base, because that kind of like reintroduces everything again and brings the colors back down so everything kind of matches and balances out. Man, I just love that Christmas tree idea. Wish I thought of that a couple weeks ago. That would be so fun. You guys, seriously, if somebody makes this design into Christmas trees, you gotta tag me in it because I want to see your earrings. I just think that is such a cool idea. I should have thought of that earlier. All right, so I have a lot of my patterns started here and I'm getting close to the bottom. So I'm going to do one more row and then I'm going to add the dagger beads to go back. So because I'm kind of running out of space, I'm going to, what am I going to do? I'm going to bring in 11.0s, I think. Yeah, I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to use the smaller beads back down here again and then have the rest of the gap for the dagger bead support. Because when you hold it up, actually, yeah, when you hold, no, Actually, I'm not. I'm going to go right for daggers. Depending on how long your wire is, you want to make sure you have enough space for your dagger frame to sit comfortably there in the center. You don't want them to stick out too long because the wire can fall off the ends of the tip. So you want to have them up high enough to where they're stuck into the inside of the frame so they won't fall out, like the frame won't collapse. I'm reading your guys' notes really quick. A heart added for Valentine's Day. That is a great idea. Yeah, I can show you guys how to wire wrap a heart. I just did a heart ring for Michael's for a tutorial for them. That's actually a really fun idea. You could do a heart frame and then do some red and pink and white beads. All right, so I'm going to jump ahead here for the daggers. And depending on how much space you have, you can either line them up together or space them out with your 11-0. So it's kind of trial and error for me first. Like I do the line to figure out what's going to fit. I know I'm off camera. My wire's freaking out. Okay, here we go. I need to trim this down a little bit. Woo. Okay, so I have to kind of figure out how much room I have here. But see, this is why you want to make sure you have a little bit of a tail end on your frame to support your daggers, because you want them to fit on the inside of the frame. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know. I think I'm just going to put the daggers in by itself. So as you're going, you'll figure out how you want your pattern to look as well. Oh, you got a happy mail from Art Beads. I want to know what you got too. Did you get the deal of the day? I forgot to mention that. We have a deal of the day today, as well as a Christmas sale going to artbeads.com. You guys want to check it out. Every day they're doing a deal of the day. And right now we have a phenomenal sale happening for Christmas. You guys got to tap into that. It's not too late to get your Christmas orders. That way, if you're making something as a gift, you still have time. All right, I don't like it. Okay, I don't like it. All right, I'm going to put some 11-0s in as spacer beads instead. But yes, there's a phenomenal deal of the day today, as well as a Christmas sale happening. So if there's anything you want, now's the time to check it out. It's still 2 weeks before Christmas. I just realized that yesterday. I was like, uh-oh. I can't believe it's already 2 weeks till Christmas. You live in Canada. Oh, Georgina, I'm sorry. Like, your postal system's not super happy right now. But anyways, yeah, there's 2 weeks until Christmas. So like, if you guys have projects that you want to make, you still have time to get your artbeads.com order in and in the mail and sent to you. Okay, I can do one more. And one more. Okay. So again, the fun part about this frame is if you need a little bit of space, you can tweak it and move your frame out a teeny bit to make room for your bead. Nope, but this one matches almost perfect. Oh my gosh, no way, get out of town. That's a total, how cool is that? That just totally worked out that way. It matches. It fits in there perfect. All right, so I'm going to bring my wire around the frame. There we go. And you want to pull it nice and tight. So sometimes on this particular part, this part of the wire likes to have a gap. So you kind of have to hold everything in place with one hand and bring your wire up nice and tight around your tail. And when it's rounded, it still wants to loosen up and have a gap. So you kind of need to, might take a few times, get that wire nice and tight around your frame like so, and then go around it a handful of times. And I do more because it's the last one. I'm going to do quite a few coils on this one so it holds everything in place. I don't want it to slide off. I want it to stay put. I also want it to support the rest of the wire wrapping on the frame. All right, cool. Here we go. And then cut off the excess wire and pinch it closed like so. And then I'm going to trim this one just a teeny bit so they match. All right. Oh, that's so cute. All right, so we have our first earring finished. Hey. What do you guys think? I hope you guys like it. It's a fun idea to wire wrap. Like I said, you can add whatever beads that you want in the center, and then you can hammer the end if you want, or you don't have, but it's a great use of dagger beads. I like it because it adds it's kind of a bohemian look. And oh, thank you, Lori. Yeah, and if you have daggers, let's say you bought some for a bracelet and you have some left over, you can use this idea for matching earrings, because you need, what, 5 daggers on there? That's not too many. I think you get 50 daggers on a strand, so you can make a bracelet. You know, you have enough beads to do a bracelet, and then you can make matching earrings, and then you can use the extra ones here to do like, you know, bead around it for a bracelet. That's actually a really good idea. So you could use your leftover beads off the strand and do a bracelet and a couple pairs of earrings. All right, so here's a close-up for this one. So I'm going to make the other earring while we're hanging out. So hang tight, you guys. So we're going to do it all over again for the other one. That's actually really cute. I'm not crazy about this bent look. I like my wire to be perfectly straight. So if you're doing this and you find your wire has a tiny bit of a kink, you can just go back through and straighten it out again. That'll work. Okay, so I'm gonna grab my other wire, and you can hammer it again or not hammer it. Choice is yours. If you hammer it, it's gonna look more like this with a little bit of a texture pattern, and it'll be flat because, you know, you just hammered it. And so I don't know why I'm making myself laugh when I say that. Okay, so we have our frame, and we're going to start the pattern all over again for the second one. And then the other thing I want to do too before I start is I just want to make sure my loops are the same size, and everything's going to be about the same size. So when they're hanging side by side, they match. So we're good. So I'm going to cut a new piece of wire, and you don't... How much wire do I cut? I probably cut 2 feet. You might not use it all, but you want to have more than not enough, because if you don't have enough with this, you have to start all over again. So I like to make sure I have extra wire. That way I know my whole earring will be finished, and then just cut off the remainder. This one, you could probably add extra wire and hide the loops in. I've tried that before, except for it's kind of obvious when you add new wire in the middle. So okay, so I'm going to cut 2 feet, and I'm going to grab my thing here again. I'm going to wrap it a few times to get established on my frame, and pinch this up close tight like so, and cut off the excess wire, and do this. Oh yeah, if you guys have any questions too, like, let me know. I'm more than happy to answer any questions you might have about how you do this. And if you have any item questions, you can let Art Beads team know. Send them an email, and they can get back to you on any product questions you might have. And also, if you're on Facebook, join the Art Beads group. It's Serious Beaders, where we ask our friends if you have any questions. If you're making a project, feel free to post it and share. We love to see people making our tutorials, and it's a lot of fun, I think, when the beading community shares what they're making, and we can support and encourage each other. All right, so I'm going to start again with 1 seed bead at the very top, like so, and bring it around the frame. I'm going to wire wrap 3 times around this one, and bring it back around, and do 2 more. I think this is a great idea too for seed beads. So let's say you use seed beads for a project, you have leftover seed beads. You could get some Czech glass and work with your leftover seed beads and make a pair of earrings out of them so they don't go to waste. So you have a really pretty pair of earrings / bead soup earrings. And okay, I'm going to grab some. So I'm going to go to the 3mm rounds and bring this down. Whoop. Yeah, and with wire, you know, like sometimes it likes to get away from you. My wire is trying to stab me in the face, but it's not going to win. I love how it just tries to get away. Okay, so I'm going to do the 3 rondelles. I'm using 5x3 rondelle. I think Yeah, it's 5x3. I sometimes get confused 3x5, 5x3, but the 3 is really tiny and this is a 5, so it's a little bit larger. And sometimes, again, when you're doing this, the frame, the wire likes to move around. You just have to kind of gently bend it back into place again and it will hold. Now, when you're going on the other side too, you want to pull your wire nice and tight going around your frame because it will try to get away from you and leave a big gap. You just want to like slide the beads down tight, pull your wire nice and tight and bring it around the frame. And when I'm going around a larger bead, I want to do more coils to give me more space in between each bead row. I laugh at myself all the time, Julie. I have like an inner monologue and I'll just laugh and be like, yeah, I'm funny. That's what happens when you work at home. I think sometimes you're like, I'm going to entertain myself because I'm by myself. Anyways. All right. So next I'm going to go down to an 11-0 row. So we're going to grab some of those. And the other thing is when you're making the earrings, you want to make sure you have the same amount of beads going across so it matches. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I need 7. I suppose if you have to fib, it's okay. No one will stop and grab your earrings and count them to make sure you have the right amount of beads, but you want them to be as close as possible. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I need to grab another one. 7. And sorry if you guys can hear my dryer in the background. Okay. Oh, hi, Stacy. It's okay if you're late. Don't worry. We're just glad that you're here. Thank you for coming and hanging out with us today. Okay, so I'm going to go around this way and bring my coils down. All right, so I have my seed bead roast. Next, I'm going to go to my fire polish, and I have 4 of those. So you just want to make sure you follow the same pattern from the first earring. That way they match. However, sometimes you might need to trim down one, but I think we're good. And again, if you sometimes just have a tiny bit of space, you just bring that wire out a little bit on the edge, and then you have space for them to fit in the middle. And then bring it around and bring your coils together a little bit tighter, like so. All right. So I have one more row. I'm going to do the 3mm rounds and then we add our daggers. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7. That is a lucky number, right? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What hammer do I use? Oh, actually the hammer I have is in the shoppable link. I think it's a vintage hammer. It works amazing. I have a couple different hammers, like texture hammer, and I have the brass hammer, which is really a large one. But for this type of stuff, you just need like a smaller hammer. Michelle, could you put the picture up for it? I think it's a vintage hammer, but it works great. It's like 8 inches long, I think, but it's really handy. It's not too large or too heavy, so it's easy to work with. If you don't want to like have a large hammer to maneuver. All right, so I'm done with my last row and I'm going to go ahead and go with my daggers. And with daggers, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I want to make sure I have 5 daggers on this other earring so that way they match when they're hanging together. Here we go. And a hammer you can use for all kinds of stuff. I use it for lots of metal working on earrings. So it's definitely a good investment to have if you want to do different styles of wire making. It's a great hammer. Or if you just want to lightly texture your wire to strengthen it, it's a really good wire. Oh, good. Thank you, Michelle. Yeah, it's a great hammer. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, I need to add one more and we're almost done. Yay! So for about 45 minutes of your time, let's say, you can make a beautiful pair of earrings and then use the rest of your beads to make a matching bracelet. I say that's a good deal. All right, so I gotta make sure, you wanna make sure your frame is open enough for the check glass, for your daggers to fit in. And then again, the end, the wire likes to fight you a little bit. Like it just wants to like hang out like this. You just wanna pull it nice and tight and bring that around while you're holding everything in place. And then if you find you have too large of a loop, you can just unwire wrap it and bring it back again. But I think this will work. All right, so I'm gonna go around a few more times. And I'm gonna use my chain nose pliers to bring these coils together. There we go. Again, I go through a few more times, that way everything stays on the frame and it doesn't slide off. I'm gonna go one more and then I'm done. And then when you're finished, you can just cut off your excess wire and then use your pliers and just bring it down and pinch it closed. Like so. And then the next part is the fun part where you get to add your ear wires. Yay! So, here, pinch that down again. I feel like that is the best part about making earrings is adding the ear wires because you get to see what it looks like all finished. Okay. Yeah. I'm going to straighten this out a little bit. You know what's funny too? I've noticed sometimes when I make jewelry, my first attempt at making something is sometimes looks better than the second one, which is weird because you think if you just made it, the second one will look better than the first one. But I find sometimes my very first one looks great and then the second one's like, oh, that's all right. I don't know if you guys ever have that. Yes, the round part of the hammer is great for texturing. And I can find some 3mm beads and put them in a shopping bag list. I just grabbed them right before my class started, so I didn't get a chance to put them in the shopping bag. But you could use any 3mm bead as well. That'll work. You could also use another fire polish. That's a 3mm. Okay, cool. All right, I'm going to get some ear wires. Here we go. And add some ear wires. Thanks you guys, by the way, for hanging out with me today. I really appreciate it. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, the second one, I have to have it look like this. And they're like, my first one came out so nice, but just takes practice. I haven't made this style of earring for a while, which is kind of sad because it's a lot of fun to make it and they turn out super cute. And I love the idea of using dagger glass because it looks like a bohemian type of style to me, almost like feathers. I'm gonna bring this up a little bit. And also, if you find that your glass is moving, you can kind of bring it up. Now, if you wire wrapped it nice and tight, it shouldn't move too much, but you can kind of move it around to get it to go more where you need it to go. And bring this around. And here's a close-up. You have a fun pair of dagger earrings. Here, let me go. There we go. Yay! Am I on camera right now? I hope I'm on camera. I am? Okay, because from where I'm seeing, I'm on camera. Okay. All right, so here's a close-up. Here's an idea of what you can do. And I also love the idea of turning these into Christmas trees. So, if you got some green wire instead, artbeads.com does have a lot of green wire. Colored wire. You can make green and then turn this into a Christmas tree idea. And then they also have green dagger beads if you wanted to grab some of those and then mix them with like red and gold or red and green beads with dagger beads. But I think it's just a fun concept to wire wrap, and then you can incorporate whatever beads you want and daggers you want for your own style. But yeah, here's a close-up. I think they're cute. I love it. They're pretty. I'm going to put them on really quick so you guys can see what they look like on. Just let me flip my camera around really quick. I'm going to fold up All right, cool. Yep, there's the back of my holder. I cannot wait to get my new phone holder in the mail today. Yeah, I live Southwest for sure, definitely. And yes, please close out your shopping cart before the end of the class so you still have a few minutes. Okay, here we go. So here's what they look like. And then there you go. So they're not too big and they're not heavy. Like you could totally shake these on your head. They're not heavy at all. And that's about the size. So total length about 2 inches, 2.5 inches, and they're not heavy. So they're not weighing down on my ear at all. And they're super comfortable. Yeah. So Mardi Gras colors. That's a great idea. Yeah, that's fun. So here's a close-up. So you guys gotta try this idea. It's super fun. Again, they're lightweight and it's not too time consuming either. So you make a whole pair of earrings in less than an hour, 45 minutes. And then you can make them to match your outfit. I love this. And again, if you have Christmas beads, make a tree idea. And then you could put like a star bead in the center up there as like a tree topper. I love that. I think I'm going to wear these today. These are so fun. Here's a close-up again. Yay. Well, thanks for hanging out with me today, you guys. I really appreciate it. I love seeing y'all on a Tuesday. It's a great way to start the week. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out anytime. If you have any product questions, just email artbeats.com. They are more than happy to help you out on the website as well. And thanks for joining me. Here's a close-up again. Oh, here you go. These are so cute. I love them. What a great class. I'm so glad you guys were hanging out with me today. I really appreciate it. These are so cute. Awesome. Yeah, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. I'll see you next Tuesday. And then, yes, we will have fun watching Christmas movies over the next few weeks because Christmas like is 2 weeks away. Jeez. And then also they have a class back here tomorrow, artbeats.com. So feel free to check out that one. And then also today's deal of the day. And then also they have a Christmas sale. And I think I covered everything. Just want to make sure. And then, yeah, thank you so much for being here. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. So thanks for watching my class and shopping with artbeats.com today. Appreciate it. Have a great rest of your day. Y'all take care. I'll see you next Tuesday.